6:30 or so in the evening. I didn't feel like getting up this morning, so I want to come out here tonight for a start on tonight's work, homework, and all that stuff and work out. So yeah, about another 20-30 minutes or so. It's been about 15 now. Just keep moving at a good clip and stuff. But yeah, so updates. Just did the first vid. A lot of people liked it. I appreciate it. Just kind of, showing what the page is going to be about. I've done enough shorts, so I figured it was time to do the first video and kind of talk about that mindset shift that I had while I'm battling with this depression that just didn't happen. I've had it for years, but yeah, kind of just culminating event that happened and made everything come up at once. So had my first therapist appointment yesterday. That's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a good 3-4 months or so with this therapist who does experimental. My watch is talking to me. He's doing experimental therapy. So I think that's going to be good to learn from her, and at the same time try to figure out who I am. Right. So I've noticed that my pre-work before going to the therapist, that when I try to define who I am, the roles are always father, the husband, this former soldier, the manager, right, the son. But outside of all that, who am I? And I can't completely articulate who that is. So that person I don't know, that person I don't love, that's the person I got to figure out, right? So that's my main thing going to therapy. It's not to make myself better for everyone else, but to make myself better for me, right? If I don't make myself better for me, I can't pour into anyone else. And so, the voices, the intrusive thoughts, all that is like completely almost taken over. So it's important that I sit down with someone and learn the ways to help me to get it all out and then figure out the next course of action. Things have to change. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone thinks at the end. I have to be happy with myself, and I have to completely change. So that changes dynamics of different relationships, whatever it's gonna be. I just gotta do it because I've had tough times, right? I spent 23 years in the military, and I've had tough times. There was times where I felt like I was gonna die, plenty, but I never thought it was gonna be at my own hand. And it really scared me the past couple weeks where I felt like taking my own life. And so I'm not happy with myself, just being completely honest. And so I need to work on that, right? I don't want the thoughts, the voices to win. So I've got to work on that. So that's the key, right? And this page is almost like, not a documentary, but like a journal. Maybe one day I look back on it. Maybe, I see it as me putting something in the universe and others being able to learn from it, right? We always put stuff in space, America. Other countries do. We put stuff in space and we hope it reaches in another intelligent life form, and the radio waves are traveling all over, right? We could drop down and rabbit hole about that. But the main thing is to put it out there. So then maybe one person one day who's in their late 50s thinks, right, I'm only 51, but someone in their later stages of life are like, man, I just don't know what's going on. And they come across this page. Not even just them though. Someone who's very young, who's thinking that, man, I just can't figure it out. And then you realize that I ain't got to figure it out either. So stop being so hard on yourself, right? It could be any of those things. But I've always felt the need to use myself as an example. But this time, as vulnerable as I am, as vulnerable as this situation is, and some may not agree, I think this is the best thing. This is the best thing to put it out. To not document it so I make myself feel good, but to be able to go back and look the days when it gets hard, right? So That's the key. That's the thing about the life of Tony. We'll go more, I don't think I've done it yet, but we'll go more into my life, probably the next one or so, my past, and the things that have happened to me or that I've done that I'm not particularly proud of, right? So we'll talk about that. But the main thing is, just showing what life is like. I don't have like a exquisite vlog type life or anything like that. I'm just a regular person right now, I think, in like not even middle America, but somewhere west of the Mississippi, who's just trying to make it, right? Trying to figure it out. And so I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna give myself this year. And when I say year, not a calendar year, from this May to next May, to be in a completely different situation, to both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Come and take this journey with me. Come and realize that we ain't gotta have it all figured out, but with the right mindset, even when you stumble, we're gonna figure it out. Absolutely, we're still gonna make mistakes. We're still going to fail, right? But like I've always said before, failure is not necessarily the end of the world, right? And so that's gonna be the key. And like I said, I'm not doing it for a ton of likes or anything like that. It's just a record. And hopefully it reaches the right person who was in a bad place like I was. Who I have been a couple different times in the past couple weeks. I literally have been living up until this Monday, still a little bit, but up until this Monday, breath by breath. There was times I couldn't stop crying. There were times that I just could not figure it out, right? And everything was, so many different situations were coming crashing, and I felt like the best thing to do was just leave. Some could say that's cowardly. Some could say that's the cop-out. At the time, I just wanted the noise to stop, right? And it wasn't about who I was gonna hurt leaving. It was more about if I could stop hurting. So, yeah, we'll talk about those things. We'll talk about self-growth. We'll talk about mindset. We'll talk about different schools of philosophy, and just try to grow together, right? And see what happens. Put out 100 or more videos and let it just be out there for the world to see, for the world to critique, for the world to make comments. But I'll tell you, I'll respond to some of the comments, but I'm not going to respond to all of them. I understand the troll world. I understand all that. I beat myself up enough, so I'm not going to get in a sparring war. I spent 23 years in a sparring war. I'm not going to do it no more. So if I don't comment because it's a troll, I'll probably just block it, right? Probably what I'll do. But yeah, it's getting in because it's sweat's coming. Yeah. So, but yeah, I know I'm rambling a little bit. I say that a lot. I swear. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I just wanted to get on, have a quick conversation, talk about a little bit of an update, and I appreciate you all for following. Good Friday morning. So yeah, early morning, got to do a quick workout. Got my little sweatband, for the man midsection. Yeah, gonna just knock out a quick workout. I'm not gonna film it, just something very quick because I slept in a little. Normally I'm up around 5:30 or so, and with mobility and everything, but I'm just gonna do a quick, some sprints, a little bit of cardio with treadmill, and then farmer's walks, a little bit of jump rope. So just make that a real quick one, probably 45 minutes or so. But yeah, feeling good. Feeling grounded, feeling less detached, or more detached, and giving myself grace. Some of the evenings are better. Night times are always tough for me, but they're better now. So yeah, Friday, let's get it in. Talk to you later. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's Sunday. A little gloomy out here in the Southwest, but we're at my number 2 favorite spot, the barbershop. So pop in there, grab a cut, then I'll get with you afterwards. We'll just talk about little things. Hopefully out here if it doesn't rain. All right, talk soon. And I'm done. Haven't looked at it yet, but maybe later. Jump in the car, do this one real quick. Oh, yeah, it looks like it's gonna come out and rain. So, good weekend. It's Sunday. I think I already said that. Yeah, so this week, highlights of this week. Therapist. Went to the therapist. Very first therapist appointment. Blew my mind. Was a good appointment. Very first appointment, but a good one. Read over my entire case log. Then she explained to me what she does. She is a experimental clinician as well as a traditional clinician, which basically means that she does traditional therapy as well as what some of us call woo-woo, or like the Brianna West, Dr. Gupta, people like that, which I really like. Ruiz with the 4 agreements and different things like that, which I'm on chapter 2, analyzing that right now. But yeah, she does a lot of that stuff too, so which is great because that's a lot of stuff that I like to read, especially Wes, The Mountain Is You, The Pivot Year, and stuff like that. So within like 5 minutes, I started crying because not getting too deep on some of the questions. I will, but some of the questions she asked me, but the very first one was kind of like, who are you? Outside of all these roles, outside of you performing, who are you? And I couldn't answer that question. So we talked about friendships, relationships, the dynamics of them, what I eventually want therapy to do for me in these next 3 to 4 months, what my next steps will look like, but not getting too deep in that, staying very present. And then really what I want my dream life. Like if there was a magic day, what would that look like? And honestly, I really couldn't answer it right then because I'm still trying to be very, very present and very grounded. So she likes that I do the breath work to kind of get me out of some of the situations that I've been in with intrusive thoughts. She also liked that I am journaling, which I need to do today. But it was good. It was good to get a little bit of confirmation, right? But then at the same time, we just talked about steps to get me to feel as good that I make other people feel. So we talked about my dynamics of being the strong friend, and then my crack, a couple weeks, almost a month, maybe a little bit more than a month ago, and try to really dissect in that. So let me tell you, it was funny because a lot of men don't go to therapy. And a lot of men, I'll say that and I'm being very generalizing. Enough men don't go to therapy. Enough men don't talk about their emotions. And so I kind of like laid it all out. But then at the same time, I was very tough, in which I like that she said she's going to hold me very, very accountable and tell me and call me on my BS. I know that I have that manipulative behavior subconsciously a lot of times, and I'm not making an excuse. I don't know that I'm doing it, but I need to be aware of it. So it's really figuring out the ways, which she's already given me some, of sitting in my feelings, not judging myself, but sitting in my feelings. And then asking myself, not so much of how I feel, but how am I feeling right now with these feelings? Should I be doing this or should I not be doing this? And so that was good. That was good to get some tools. So I started writing those down, and I'm developing my own journal book, where I'll be able to have those prompts. And one day I may share. I might just throw it out there as a freebie, I'll figure that out and just have it somewhere one day when I figure out how to do it. One day soon, I'll put it in a link and then everybody will just be able to access it. But I was able to kind of really figure out ways to sit into my feelings and not judge. The hard part about it is when I'm very, very sad, I'm feeling like it's my fault, where I just need to say, why do I feel this way right now? What would the better version of me do right now, right? Even though I don't want to always live in the future, I would say, what does my healed self feel? What would my healed self be doing right now if this came up? So that's something that I'm looking at as well. But then really just trying to stay present and really sit and learn some of these mistakes, not be so hard on myself, but learn these mistakes, because I don't want to take 8-9 years to heal. But I know I'm not going to do it in 2 months, but I want to recognize and have changed behavior. In the past, I've always apologized for stuff, something I need to stop doing, like over apologizing. But then at the same time, I need to recognize when I'm not doing right and correct it. Learn behavior. So that's my key. Learn behavior in every single relationship and situation that I'm ever in, is learn behavior. Just really concentrating on myself though. Using music to do that. I've developed some playlists that really, Sunni, and Rumi music, right? If you know who Rumi is, the great Arab poet, really using some of that type of music to meditate, to sit with. A lot of jazz. My love for jazz has came up from a person that I met not too long ago. So really listening to a lot of jazz as well. Coffee house, I've got some nighttime jazz, lounge jazz, just some older greats playing as well. So jazz has really been soothing too. But playlists for different moods, but really trying to set into a mood where my mind is just resting. But then at the same time, I'm coming into my own. So I'm excited to see who I'm going to be. I'm excited to shed this current person that really honestly hurt a lot of people. And then ultimately got hurt himself from not being a good person, even though I thought I was. And so I'm ready to change. And I love that I want to be this open. As many years that I hid away from therapy, I want to be this open with my therapist and just explain to her how I want to be a better person. So what does my magic day or year or life look like? I don't know. I can't really answer that. But the first thing I want to do is be able to love myself. That's the key. If I can love myself, then I don't think I'll have too many problems. So, yeah. So that's it. Have a great week. I hope everybody is doing well. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate those who subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, give me a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. If you don't want to do it that way, I'll post my email, and you can hit me up on email. But I appreciate every single one of you. Just remember, we're still here. We're still alive. We're taking it one day at a time, one breath at a day, at a time. Excuse me, not at a day. One breath at a time to get through this. And eventually we will. All right. Y'all take care. Peace.